Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow, Extreme Health Club, and Lockshield Partners Accounting Services.
Welcome back to Week 11 with Tell Me About It Sports Show. Trevent Hayes, KY Sports TV, and James Brown.
104thescore.com these days.
Glasgow Electric Plant Board, Channel 6, the local channel.
There you go. So what you been up to lately, man?
Not a lot. Working a lot.
Work,
yes. Believe it or not, I do have to work, James.
Yeah, you have a day job. My day job is talking about sports, so.
Well, everybody thinks I have a day job, but a lot of times my job is not.
You know, that's right, because people don't like to die during the day. They like to die in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, yes. Yeah. It's never a convenience.
No. I've always been impressed, not to get morbid about this, but I've always been impressed by that on, people who are working in funeral homes and have to, take care of family and deal with their loved ones who are in mourning. Usually a lot of times, that takes a lot of fortitude. So I've always had a lot of respect for that. Plus, as you mentioned, man, most of that time that stuff happens between midnight and 4 a.m., it seems like. So,
it does.
You guys do a really important job.
Well, I appreciate it.
So let's talk a little bit about sports, which is not as important.
Not at all.
Barron County suffered their first softball loss.
To Butler County?
Yep, Butler County on Tuesday night.
Were you impressed that I knew that they lost to Butler County?
Well, I figured you might know.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
You did go to a softball game.
I went to a softball.
So, but I think some people may have been surprised that Barron lost to Butler. Butler's got a good team this year. They play in the third region, so Butler County, and that didn't surprise me a whole lot, just because a team's not going to go undefeated, and this Barron County team, replacing 5 seniors, they've played extremely well to start the season, but still, you're going to lose a game every once in a while. And they had a couple of close calls, and they just finally ran into a game where they just couldn't get the runs, and they gave up a couple of runs. I think maybe Butler County had a home run in the game. So, they gave up a couple of runs playing at Butler County, a little different situation. It was sandwiched. It's around, a game coming up. Well, actually, the game was on Monday night. Game that came up on Tuesday night when they were playing Warren East again, big district game. So, you might have a little bit of letdown, as they say sometimes, that gap game, because they won a couple of district games last week, too.
And they call it a trap game.
Trap game. That's right. You're right. Trap game. Gap game is whenever they tell you to mind the gap and you get your foot caught between the platform and the train, and things don't go well after that. But, yeah, trap game.
Okay.
And so, but they bounced back on Tuesday and whooped up on Warren East. So, there you go.
So, what about some other teams?
Let's see. Glasgow's had a little bit of a rough run in the last week or so because of injuries. Their number one pitcher, Addison McCoy's been in and out as a pitcher. Now she played some first base, played some second base. So they've had to have Memphis Prophet come in and pitch. And she didn't play last year because she had an ACL injury, I think it was. And so she's probably still rounding into shape as the number 2 pitcher. They had some injuries, like Lucy Richardson had an elbow injury, so she missed a few games. I think Micah Mullenkamp, I don't think was injured. I think she had some other academic commitments that she had to deal with. So they've struggled a little bit. They're kind of trying to, I guess, maybe tread water right now and get to some games outside the district. They lost to Allen County Scottsville in the district game on Tuesday, 13-0, I think was the final score. But, it's that old thing, when you're at this point of the season, baseball, softball, that kind of thing, you don't want to necessarily be playing your best. You want to be trying to be healthy and kind of get into a rhythm as you get toward the playoffs in May.
So you went to the Caverna John Harden game?
I did not go to the game.
You did not?
No, I ended up having to do some other things. But it was an epic. I kept up with it, and I guess they had a walk-off win, 16-15 there.
One of the moms said that it was an overtime game.
Yeah, it was in the 8th
inning. I know, but I didn't correct her and tell her that there's no overtime in softball.
Time is not kept. There can be no over on it. Yeah, there was some extra Extra innings.
The extra innings.
Yeah.
Yes. So
They needed a win too, man.
did.
They've had a rough patch here. They opened with a couple of wins, and they've had some near misses in their losses. They've suffered some pretty devastating losses in terms of scores, so they definitely needed that game.
and they don't have a bad team.
No, I'm a little surprised by their record, to be honest with you. I thought they had gotten to a point coming into this season with the pitching of Adriana Salvador and some of their hitters, some of the infield players like Haley Dennison and those folks who have played real well and played a while, that this will be a year they might have a breakout. I'm not sure what's happened. They've just struggled to win the games.
Let's shift for 1 minute.
Okay,
Let's go to women's college basketball.
that's over with, isn't it?
No, it's just starting.
Oh, okay. A transfer portal?
The transfer portal.
Yeah. Now that's hot.
So, Haley Van Lith, the highest touted recruit ever at Louisville for women's basketball, took an official visit to LSU this week.
Not surprising.
Not surprised at all. They play the same kind of basketball. Haley Van Lith, she's a trash talker. I think she would fit in with that team. But do you think that if she commits to LSU, do you think that immediately makes them the front runners?
No, not actually.
Who do you think?
I would say you would have to look at UConn next year.
UConn?
Because if I'm not mistaken, they didn't lose a whole lot, and they generally don't head in and out of the transfer portal. They're at UConn. I don't know why. And they probably underachieved for their standard. Now, they were down for their standard this year, but, and I know South Carolina is graduating 4 of their top 5 players or something like that, 4 of their top 6.
I think the Boston girl went number 1 in the draft.
She did indeed, Aaliyah Boston. But Dawn Staley's proven that she just reloads at this point down in South Carolina. And here's the thing about LSU. The reason I'd say that doesn't necessarily immediately make them a front runner is they're really only going to have one returning player technically they had 2 sophomores, but almost their whole team was transfer portals except for Alexis Morris. So we don't even know what they're going to look like come next year.
So they're going to have Reeves.
Yeah. Maybe they have a guard coming back as well then.
Yes.
Because one of the guards was a freshman.
The point guard graduates.
Yeah, Alexis
Morris. Yes.
Right.
So, but if you
And she was the only holdover from last year's team.
But if you
the
throw
previous season's
Haley
team.
Van Lith in there, you don't think that makes them a top contender?
Well, sure, they're going to be a top contender. And the reason it's not surprising is because when Van Lith picked Louisville, her top 2 choices were Baylor, when Kim Mulkey was at Baylor, and Louisville. That's why it's not surprising she might go to LSU. But again, the nature of the transfer portal, especially as it ramped up this past couple of years in women's basketball, I think changes the dynamic. I don't know that unless you know you've got a quality player or 2 coming back, I'm not sure that you can say who the front runner is. Or you've got coaches that have kind of proven they build them year in and year out.
And the transfer portal is just destroying these high school seniors. I mean, you've got guys that could play, mid-majors, but they're not getting recruited because they're transfer portal.
Well, that's a very long discussion, and we don't have a whole lot of time.
I know. Aaron turned the light on us.
Well, and so we got to do a little, you're going to have these couple of interviews that you have coming up.
Yes, we have Coach Chad Griffin, the head coach of the Hart County Raider football team.
Doing spring football.
Doing spring football, and Brandon Clemons, the head coach of the boys baseball team.
All right.
They're going to come on and join us. We had them on a couple of days ago, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Ben Hayes, KY Sports TV, Glasgow Electric Plant Board, Channel 6, the local channel. And in our absence, the late, great James Brown, we'll still give him credit, 104 the score. We are here this week with Coach Chad Griffin, the head coach at Hart County High School. First of all, thank you for coming on, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having us on here to talk.
Spring football starts today.
It does for us, yes, sir.
And we wanted to get somebody on to talk about the importance of spring football. And, I told Aaron, what better guy than Coach Griff?
Well, I appreciate that. It's for us, it's important. And, we had a meeting last week with coaches. Well, I had a meeting last week with coaches, and we talked about that. And it's important, but it's not important. And I think it's more important for different stages of programs, if that makes sense. 2 years ago, this spring was vital. Last year, spring was vital. This year, I think we could, us as Hart County could treat spring as, I think what a lot of big programs treat it as, or established programs as, it's more for younger talent. It's more, we know what we got coming back, and we know what those kids can do, and we've seen what they do in office. It's more about where are we developing our younger guys at, and this is a time that we need to take and get our younger guys involved, and it takes, we're not worried about reps for older guys, so that's what we're excited to see right now. So.
Well, Coach, fortunately, I am blessed to be a part of this program.
Yes, you are.
So I've told Aaron and I've told James, football season, I'm going to be biased all year because I'm on the staff at Hart County. But last year was the most successful season ever at Hart County. And you're a very modest guy, but you have brought a non-traditional football school to the ranks of starting to become a traditional football school. Tell us a little bit how you did that.
Well, it's like we kind of talked earlier. It wasn't what I brought. What I brought was, I think, energy to get it going. But I also had to have buy-in, and buy-in from admin, and buy-in from players early on. And you may look at records, and it doesn't necessarily reflect buy-in. But what I mean by that is, I was fortunate to have a group of guys early on that, hey, came in at 5 o'clock in the morning and lifted weights so they could go to basketball practice and stuff like that. And they found a way to make spring sports and spring football work for us too, because at that time, spring football was really important for us because we're trying to install new offense, new defense. And that's where being a program and just being a team year to year is a difference. A program is something that rolls over year to year. And because a player is in with you for 4 years, or you have a group of guys for 4 years as their freshmen and sophomores, when they're juniors and seniors, spring practice is not as important. And that's where we are, as you know, that's where we're getting at. I mean, we're going to have, 19 or 16 seniors this year and 19 juniors. So that right there, those kids have been with us 4 or 5 years. So spring practice for us this year wasn't as important as it was last year. And COVID kind of made spring practice necessary for us as well too, as far as getting guys that up to speed where they need to be, because we lost so much. But no, what you're asking about, that's the big thing, was the buy-in early on, and it's kind of carried over. And what those guys have done is they set the groundwork for these guys. They kind of showed them the way, and now we have buy-in and some talent, and that's pretty good to have as a coach.
It is. Returning this year, you said 16 seniors, 19 juniors, a lot of pretty talented kids.
We do.
So, I feel like we are going to have a problem with, I never thought there could be too much talent. How do you plan to work through having so many talented kids, and let's just skilled kids on one team? Well,
the thing is, and that's what we've been preaching a lot of too, and this is right now, I don't care who, and when I mean this, I truly mean it. For some of you guys, you may not understand what I'm saying, but I don't care about scoring points right now. I don't. If we're going to be better than 9-3, we got to learn to play defense. And so what we have to say to those skill kids is, listen, it's going to be, each of you going to have a time. And we saw that last year, with some injuries and other guys stepping up. Each night is another. It could be Jordan Bradley's night, or next Friday may be Clark Rexroth's night, or it may be Hunter Monroe's night, or Josh Dan's night. But that's not what and that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in how can we take that talent and be a better defensive football team. The offensive stuff, they'll get their touches, and we'll figure that part out. And once again, with as talented as we are, unselfishness has got to be part of it too. I mean, you got to understand that,
And I think for the most part, very unselfish. I tease a lot of the kids that, don't be the guy that asks for the ball after somebody's ran it 90 yards for a touch, 90 yards to the 2-yard line. And, I've just always believed that if a kid runs it 90 yards and gets tackled on the 1, we go to the line and give it to him again, because you got to reward those kids.
You do.
And with that being said, the next series, most of our kids don't care if they're even out there, because they want the other kids to be successful.
That is true. And that's the good thing about it. Now, I can say this. I mean, there's, and I know as just human nature, everybody wants to be that person. But luckily, the offense that we run, skill-wise, 3-back system, and we can throw the ball some, and we got a good receiver. And so there's ways to do that part. But I'm anxious to see, and that's really where spring ball, and that's kind of where we're heading to right now. My speech to the team Thursday after the last weightlifting session was, I don't even care if we practice offense during spring ball. I want to see how we're going to approach it as a defensive standpoint, and who's going to stand out, and that's, to me, that's where it matters. And I used an analogy, and it was kind of a smart act to say, but it was, I've never had a mom or dad come to me and say, little Timmy's not making enough tackles. But I've had a bunch of mom and daddies want to know why little Timmy's not getting the ball. And I get that. But in the end, do they not realize that, hey, if your kid wants to play college football, they play defense in college. They play defense, so that's where I'm at with it right now. Yes, we have a lot of talent, but I want to see where that talent leads over to defensively, because if we want to be better than 9-3 and win a district championship or go further in playoffs, we got to learn to play defense.
And that's one of the things that James and I talk about a lot on the show is, and we've got another guest on today, but, I was scrolling through Facebook earlier, and I see these kids that are in the 2nd and 3rd grade playing in AAU basketball tournaments right now. And they're giving them rings for winning an AAU tournament. And I feel that middle school and high school sports declined when we were forced to start giving participation trophies. I'm not saying that a kid shouldn't be rewarded for playing, but not every kid on a team deserves a trophy, Coach.
Here's my thing with that too, and we could talk a long time about AAU and all this stuff too, but you made a good point. Being rewarded is, to me, it needs to be something exceptional. We didn't. I have been a part of programs, and early on in my program, I kind of handed out at the end of the year, this and that trophies. But you were there, I didn't hand out. We didn't do that. We didn't do it because I couldn't sit down and say this kid is a difference because each week somebody else stepped up. And that's part of being talented, and that's part of having a program is everybody can help. So I agree with you. The participation trophies and stuff it's not good. And if that's what you're doing it for, then I think you're doing it for the wrong reason, so.
For the wrong reason. Well, Coach, we just wanted you to stop by and talk to us a little bit about spring and kind of introduce some of the people here to put a face with the name. I know you did a big podcast a few weeks ago, and it went over really good.
I've been fortunate, and anytime somebody wants to talk about Hart County football, I love to do it. I love to talk about our program and our kids, and we got great kids, and I've got great support, and that's what's helped us get to where we are.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have Coach Clemons, the Hart County Raiders boys baseball coach, with us. Thank you guys for coming back with us. We have Coach Brandon Michael Clemons, second-year head coach at Hart County High School. We've been trying to get Coach Clemons on. Called Griff a couple of weeks ago, and of course it was spring break, and you guys were playing some makeup games. So we want to thank you for stopping by and
thank you.
Hanging out with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here,
Coach. Having a pretty decent season this year. Tell us a little bit. Give us a little recap of what's happened so far with the Raiders.
So far we're sitting at 8-9 on the year. Early on we've had kind of some injuries, a couple guys out, lost some pretty close games, down a couple guys. So could obviously be better, but for the most part, we filled it pretty well, throwing it really well. We're just kind of lacking the hitting side of things, so that's kind of where we're really pushing for right now.
You said throwing it pretty well. Aiden Richardson leading the state in strikeouts. Elaborate a little bit on the Richardson kid.
So Aiden, southpaw, throws from the left side. He's got an incredible amount of movement on his ball, and he's sitting low 80s. So it's just them guys from the left side have such an advantage still in high school baseball, and the fact that his ball moves so much, a lot of kids have some trouble with that. He's got a really good curveball, which really helps when you're throwing the righties, kind of backdoor everything into him. So it's been a lot of fun calling pitches for him, and he's worked his tail off getting to where he is right now.
So where are you guys sitting at in the district?
So right now we've only played one district game. We lost to Green 5-3 in the bottom of the top of the seventh. We kind of gave up a 2-0 lead. So right now we're 0-1 in the district, but honestly, man, it's all wide open. It looks like you got LaRue sitting at 8-8, Green sitting at 8-9, we're at 8-9, and then I think Caverna's 0-12 or something like that. So we've got two big district games this week. We play Caverna tonight, and then Wednesday we've got a big home game against LaRue, and then we'll really see where we're sitting in the district at that point.
Now, as far as the region goes, I love baseball, college baseball. I usually don't watch it until the regionals and super regionals start.
Right.
I like the majors, but I just can't watch baseball for 6 months. I've not really followed a lot of high school baseball for a few years, but from reading, is Taylor one of the better teams in the region?
Taylor's been a really young team, but they hit it so dang well. I mean, they're one of the better hitting teams I think that you'll see in the state, and they got 3 or 4 kids I think that are going D1 baseball. I would say that they're probably one of the top. Going into it, I think you kind of looked at it. Your top 3 teams were Taylor, Central, and E-Town. Central's got a kid throwing upper 90, so it makes a world of difference.
So, they built the Beaver Trail Park here in Glasgow several years ago. And then Hart County actually built a new facility for the Little League. How has that impacted the Little League program over at Hart?
So the Little League program, for the most part, has kind of been put on the back burner for many years, and it hasn't really been as successful as we need it to be. And in baseball, it's just one of those sports where it's kind of hard to just pick up and go. Teaching kids fundamentals of baseball when they're freshmen is really puts you behind as a program. So it's kind of been one of the things that I've tried to step into and kind of push forward. And I actually took over the sports park this year. So kind of gonna have my hand kind of right on the top of it. Because in all honesty, to build a program at Hart County to make it better, it starts with our Little League program.
And it's, and Aaron and I have discussed a lot, as well as James. It's all sports. Your feeder program is what makes you successful at a high school level. So you got a few big games this week, and district play should. I know it's getting about that time, isn't it?
Yeah, we kick up. So we've got 2 weeks left in April, and then 2 full weeks in May, and then the district play will kick off after that. You get about another month of regular season baseball.
All right. Well, Coach, we want to thank you for stopping by to interview with us, and good luck this week, and not only this week, but the rest of the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
We are back on Tell Me About It. Glasgow EPB, Channel 6, the local channel. Trevent Hayes, KYSports.tv, James Brown, 104thescore.com. We got to get out of here, but one thing I wanted to mention, there was a track meet over at Barron County this past Saturday. Unified track meet.
The Special Olympics.
Yes.
Yes.
It's really awesome because you have Barron County regular track program athletes, and they do these unified events with the Special Olympics athletes. So one of them was like a 2x50. So you might have 8 of the Special Olympics kids out there, and then 8 of the Trojanettes out there, and then they run the 50, and then they hand off, and the Special Olympics athletes close out. It was a really awesome atmosphere, a lot of energy out there. Then you had like a couple of the other events. I think one was a 4x100 relay. So you might have a couple of the Special Olympics athletes and a couple of the Trojans out there running with them. And then I think the other one was a 4x200 maybe. And that's just like it's regular relay.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, it was really cool. It was like I said, good atmosphere, got a little bit of sunburn.
I see it, you're peeling.
Yeah, I've tried to lotion it up, but I'm a little ashy at the moment.
We don't call it ashy, we call it rusty.
Is that right? Call it rusty. Yeah, okay. I guess that depends on your tone a little bit,
It depends on you from Mississippi, I'm from Cave City. So it's a little ashy, rusty, tomato. It's all the same thing.
I got you, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, this has been Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB Channel 6. I'm James Brown.
I'm Trevent Hayes.
Thanks for joining us again this week. You can catch us every Thursday at 6 o'clock and on the YouTube channel, Glasgow EPB YouTube.